Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sharia Maurice and I'm a homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos, ages 2, 4, and 6. And today I'm sharing some top tips and tricks that I have for you on how to afford homeschooling. So if you are interested in hearing more about that, then hit that thumbs up button and let's get right into it. Now, while I have a few years experience under my belt with homeschooling and a couple of tips that I'm going to share here with you in this video on how you can make homeschooling more affordable, I thought that it would be even more helpful to you if I got together with a couple of my other homeschooling friends here on YouTube and we did a collaboration of all of our tips and tricks on how to make homeschooling more affordable. So I got together with my good friend Shauna over at the Homegrown Homeschool and we put together this collaboration. So after you're done watching this video, be sure and check out the link down in the description box below of all of the other homeschool mom tips and tricks that they have for you on how to afford homeschooling. All right, so let's get into my first tip that I have for you. And that is to first just make a budget and stick to it. I know that seems so simple and so like, well, duh. But seriously, it is so important to have. And you'd be surprised that many people don't follow a budget in their day-to-day lives. And so what has worked for me and my family personally is we follow a very tight, strict budget. And that is a homeschooling budget, of course. Like if you are going on field trips and stuff, calculate or estimate the cost that it might be for you to take your kids to the zoo or to the aquarium or wherever you're going on a field trip, to a museum, and decide how many times do you think you want to go on a field trip, and then estimate at least a somewhat of a cost for it so that you have a budget for your homeschool. This year, I did not really have a homeschooling budget. Not because we didn't plan for one, but because we didn't have the money. And so I actually used part of our grocery budget to pay for our homeschooling supplies. And fortunately, I didn't need a lot because I shared in my last video of my not so huge homeschool supply haul that we didn't really need that much. And that is because, and this is my second tip for you, that we really use down and wear out all of the homeschool resources and supplies that I ever purchase. And so there's this saying, and I love it, and I say it regularly: use it up, wear it out, make do or do without. That's what we do. And for an example, our construction paper, we were totally out. So I bought the construction paper and we plan to use it front and back, inside out, all around, like every which way we can. I don't know about you, but I have a toddler and she loves to just scribble on paper and then be done with it. And that's, I want her to do that. I want her to, practice coloring and get creative and stuff like that. But there is no need to trash that paper just because it has a few scribbles on it. So what I do is I save those papers and then we'll go back and we'll color on the other side and we'll make more scribbles. And then when it's all just scribbled on both sides, we'll cut it out and we'll make a collage out of it. And then if we're doing a craft or something with construction paper, we'll save those the scrap pieces and do another activity out of it. And so like we really try to use up every resource and material that we have down to the very end. And that's when you truly know that you need to buy new materials, new supplies, because you were seriously out, right? All right, so the next tip that I have for you is to forego completely the extracurriculars, which I know that can be hard to do for some of y'all who really love, your kids being in sports or swim or track or a piano lesson, tutoring or whatever, that kind of thing, okay? So you can either do without those things altogether or find a cheaper way to do it. So if you are paying for a tutor for a Spanish lesson, or if you're paying for a soccer class for your kids, my first tip in that regard would be to only have one kid do one extracurricular once every semester or every season. So I have 3 kids and our plan is to have them do one sport, one kid per season. So my son in the fall will do soccer, my daughter in the spring will do ballet, and my toddler is not old enough for that kind of thing. But when her time comes, then she'll have summer or whatever, and then we'll rotate through the year so that my son isn't always doing soccer in the fall and my daughter isn't always doing ballet in the spring. She'll, rotate it. Maybe she'll do it in the winter and my son will do soccer in the spring or summer. You get that kind of thing. So it really forces you to pare down and make sure your kids want to do what it is that they are asking to do. So if they want to do ballet, but come time for ballet and they've lost interest, that can't happen, right? So you really have to make sure that they want to do it, and then only give them a season to do it, and then let the other person go. So they're still getting that extracurricular, but you're not spending hundreds of dollars on classes for every child every season. It's a lot. You can save money in that regard by slowly divvying it out over time, or completely foregoing it altogether. They will survive if they don't play soccer for a year, or if they're not a part of a ballet class or whatever. Or you can even look into doing classes online. I mean, YouTube is just a great resource for homeschooling families. You can do art classes on here. You can take Spanish courses, I'm sure. You can learn the piano. There's like so many things that you can do for free to teach your kids, outsource their education on a class on YouTube, and it's totally free. So there's just another little trick for you there. Another way that we save money around here in order to afford homeschooling supplies and resources and things like that is to not take part in any kind of monthly subscription service. So that includes cable TV or any streaming services like TV streaming. We don't watch a lot of TV. If we do watch some sort of TV, it's on what we have available to us, and that's the only thing that we have is Roku. We don't stream Netflix, we don't even stream Amazon, we don't have any of the channel specific subscriptions, we don't have Amazon Prime, we don't have any of that extra monthly subscription stuff. We save all of that money and put it towards our homeschool. So that's another way you can cut costs and save money and put it towards your homeschool. We also don't do even educational subscription boxes. Like there's that Kiwi Co or something like that, or there's that little passports or something or other. I don't know. There's a bunch of subscription boxes out there that you can purchase, and they're lots of fun, and I've seen them, and there have been times where I've been, a little jealous, or I've wanted to be able to do that kind of thing, but we just haven't had the money. It wasn't in our budget and all of that kind of stuff. But like I said, if you make do or do without, then you learn how to get creative. And so I would see some of the things that these subscription boxes are doing, and I would just recreate that at home with what we got. And so you can make do, or you can do without, or you can definitely save the money and not buy those subscription boxes, even if they're educational. You can give your child the same great education without having the extra fluff and stuff like subscription boxes. So you can save money there and make homeschooling more affordable by putting that money into a field trip. Another tip that I have for you is to purchase school supply things that you can use repeatedly in different ways, like a science kit or something that has multiple science experiments that you can do with a few supplies. You can do kitchen science experiments just with probably what you have in your kitchen. You don't even need a kit. So like that kind of thing though, where you're reusing the materials or using it as best you can in as many ways as you can. All right, the next tip that I have for you is to eat at home. Now, if you are going to co-op or something and you regularly go out after co-op to eat with the other families, like at Chick-fil-A or something, that can add up a lot, especially if you go weekly for however many weeks your co-op is. And so honestly, I would say eat at home or pack a lunch and take it as a picnic. You can save so much money just by eating from home. And so it's important to meal plan. That's what I do. There's people who aren't big meal planners, and that's okay. I've gone with the flow before, where I've just made sure that I have the basic ingredients for any meal at home, and then I just kind of pull together whatever I have or whatever I'm feeling like that day. And that's worked for me for a time. But I've also gone on the other end where I've had a meal plan and I follow it, and this is what we're having this day, and this is what we're having this day, and so on and so forth. And so eating from home can definitely save you a lot of money. It's super cost effective to buy groceries and eat them at home as opposed to going out. It's just so much more expensive to go out. And so consider, if you're eating out regularly, going out after co-op, or meeting with friends during the week for, you know, an extra class that you have or something. Don't go buying food. Just bring it from home and have a picnic. It's more fun for the kids anyway, I think. All right, now these last two are a little not the norm, I should say, but whenever you are trying to save money and penny pinch like we are, then you learn to change your lifestyle to accommodate those things. We are a one-income family. I stay at home. And so one way that we have afforded the ability for me to stay home is we only have one car. Now you're probably like, no, I cannot do that. We need our car. I thought the same thing. We used to have 2 cars, but we realized that when we're homeschooling, we have our schedule and we go through the week and we don't go anywhere. We stay at home. And if we do go somewhere, it's on a walk around the neighborhood, or we walk to the local playground, or we ride our bikes. We get out a lot and regularly, but we don't go drive places. And so that saves us on auto insurance. It saves us on gas. And it just saves us so much money by not even having another car payment. So if you can consider going down to just one car, if you won't have to have a car payment and you won't have to pay for gas and you won't have to have car insurance, it will save you so much money. And it does require a little life adjustment, especially if you're used to being able to pick up and go wherever you want. You have to think ahead. So we only have one day during the week that we have the car, and it's the day that we don't have school, which is Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. And during that day, we get all of our stuff down. So we go to the library, we go to the grocery store. If we have any doctor's appointments or dentist visits, we go do those. If we have anything that we need to return or anything like that, it's all done on that one day. And that has worked well for us. And it used to be even more challenging because we would have to take my husband to work, which was about 30 minutes away, and then come back to town and then do our errands. So we spent a lot of time in the car, but we didn't have school that day, and we made it possible, and it worked, and we figured it out. And now we're used to it. And so this other tip that I have for you is if you do go down to one car, you have to get used to driving your husband, who's most likely working, back and forth, or being okay with not having the vehicle. Oftentimes we wouldn't have the vehicle Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we would have it Wednesday. But now this is another tip. If you live in an area where you can reasonably walk or ride a bike or a scooter or a moped or something like that to work, then you can do that. We recently moved and my husband works just up the road now, and so he's able to bike to work, which is so nice. It saves us money. It saves us wear and tear on the car. We're not taking it out. We still have one car. We don't take the car out but one day a week, and we're saving a lot of money there just by doing it that way. So that is a little, outside of the norm of how people often do life. But, homeschooling is outside of the norm of how people do life. So you just get used to it, and then you don't even think about it. It's not a big issue for you. And you learn how to navigate that kind of thing with your friends. And so they know, well, they're only available on Wednesday. And so those boundaries actually help in creating freedom for your life. And it doesn't seem to make sense, but it's the truth. And so once you've gotten into the habit and the groove of it, then it all works out. Trust me, we've been doing this for like 5 years now, and it's been the best thing ever for us. So those are all of the tips that I have for you. Some are a little unconventional and some are like, duh, why did you even tell me that? But homeschooling can be affordable. And if you're on the fence about homeschooling because you think you might not be able to afford it, or you think that it's too much, or whatever the case may be, you can afford to homeschool. It is possible, even if you're a one-income family who doesn't make a lot of money. You're on the low income of the spectrum, and that's okay too. There are ways, and if you truly want something, you will make it happen. And I believe wholeheartedly that you can do it no matter what, whatever your financial situation is. So After you're done with this video, be sure and check out that link down below with all of the other tips and tricks that the other homeschooling mamas out there are sharing today on how to make homeschooling more affordable. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the little bell icon so that you can be notified of my newest videos, and I will see you in the next one.